What's up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. You can tell I'm only wearing eye makeup and my eyebrows because we're trying out a makeup hack today that I've seen pretty much everywhere. I've seen it on YouTube and I've seen it on Instagram, and I've also seen it in my comment section of my videos because a lot of you have requested for me to try this out. And it's doing powder before foundation. I've seen Casey Holmes, Jackie Ayanna, and I've also seen Alyssa Forever here on YouTube. I've seen them do this and I was always intrigued and I wanted to try it out for myself, and then you guys started asking me to try it out, so I was like, okay, I need to try this out. So this hack is supposed to help with oily skin, you know, preventing your oils from seeping through at least a little bit slower than they normally do, or, you know, prevent that from happening in general overall. So we're gonna put it to the test, see what goes on. Now I do want to say, just as Casey Holmes, you know, she gave this little disclaimer, if this doesn't end up working out for me, it does not mean I am like against those YouTubers. I'm not saying that they're like liars or anything. It's just everybody's skin is different and everybody's skin reacts to certain things differently. And it's also not against the brands for the products that I use, because this is just a technique that I'm trying. All of these products I've used in makeup videos before and for different looks and stuff, and they work just fine. It's just the technique that's a little bit different. But that's enough for the intro. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Now I do know that you're supposed to like prime your skin before, so it's primer, then it's your powder, and then it's your foundation, and then it's powder on top of that. So we're gonna see how this works. I'm gonna prime with my Dr. Brant Pores No More primer. Since I am using this powder here and it is mattifying, I just wanna go in with the pore minimizing one. If this works for me, oh my goodness, because I've been struggling with my skin lately. It's been super oily, so hopefully this works out. And also just keep in mind that with this technique, a lot of people try it different ways. Some people like to do primer, some people don't. Some people like to use certain powders. Some people like to cream contour after. Like, it's gonna be different. I may not be doing it, you know, exactly the same as, you know, some of you guys may have seen, but I'm just trying out, you know, what I think would work best for like my skin type. This is a Cover FX matte setting powder. They have a regular one and then they have a mattifying one. I got the mattifying one in the color light. So what I'm gonna do is actually apply the powder with a sponge, and the sponge that I'm going to use to initially apply it is my L'Oreal sponge, and I'm using this one because it has a flat edge, as you guys can see, and I feel like that'll really, you know, give me that kind of coverage that I'm looking for, I guess. I don't even know what I'm talking about because I've never tried this before. This feels so weird. Okay, so I'm just gonna do it all around the T-zone. I think I went a little bit too far right here. I'm gonna do this all where I get oily. So I typically get oily pretty much all over my face, but I wanna concentrate this more in the center. Even though it kind of looks like I'm putting it everywhere, I'm avoiding these areas. And right away, I can definitely see that it is mattifying that area, of course. My skin gets oily even before applying any product. My skin is just naturally super oily. It's also really smoothing out my skin. Now, of course, because I have it in the color light, it isn't gonna be like my skin tone, and it's not gonna blend perfectly. It looks like I have like a layer of like, I don't, powder on my skin. But yeah, if you were to get like medium or something, it might work, but I'm sure this will work fine once I put my foundation on top. So after I did that thin layer, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into the foundation part. Since I am self-tan, you guys can see my neck area and my chest is a little bit darker than my face, even before applying the powder. So I think I'm gonna mix, I kind of want to do the Super Stay Better Skin from Maybelline. So I think I'm just gonna do this one. I was gonna mix the two Wet n Wild ones, but I think I kind of want to just do this one. And what I'm gonna do to apply this is apply the foundation directly onto my Hourglass foundation brush. Hopefully this isn't too dark. And I'm just gonna sweep it onto my skin and basically hope for the best. So yeah, this might match. It doesn't feel any different. Like, it doesn't feel like hard to blend or patchy or anything like that. So that's good. I'm just gonna tap it. I don't want to rub it or swirl it because I feel like that might just kind of mess it up. I don't know. So far, so good. I mean, I don't see like any streaks or anything. It doesn't look off, it doesn't look strange. It looks like I'm just putting foundation on. It doesn't look like I have a powder underneath this. I did end up adding a little bit of my Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the color Desert Beige because I feel like this is a little bit too orange and this will kind of balance it out. Not gonna lie, it looks actually pretty flawless and it looks matte. Like I don't feel like I have to even like go with powder on top. It is kind of getting a little bit right here, but besides that, the rest of my face is pretty matte and it's evened out and everything, and it doesn't look cakey, even though I did apply 2 different foundations, which is pretty cool. So from there, I'm gonna go ahead and conceal and do the rest of, you know, my face products. I'm not gonna cream contour because I already have 2 layers of foundation on, so I don't want to do too much. So I'm using Tarte Shape Tape, just applying a little bit underneath the eyes. I'm not, you know, going heavy with it, doing like a crazy triangle underneath or anything. I'm just gonna highlight and conceal where I didn't apply much foundation. And I'm showing you guys this step because I'm still gonna powder underneath my eyes. I'm gonna add a translucent powder to see how my skin looks after finishing and everything like that. I look super bronzed, but from here I'm gonna go ahead and set my under eye area using the Airspun powder. I'm not using the Cover FX one because I don't want to do like a matte powder under and a matte powder on top. I feel like that's just going to dry out my under eyes. This one is, it's a little bit matte, but it's not as mattifying as the Cover FX one. I feel like this is like bulletproof makeup right here. Like my makeup is not gonna move at all. So I just swiped all of that powder off. My face, I mean, I like the way it's looking. I don't feel like it looks cakey at all. I thought it was going to be very cakey because you're doing like another layer of powder underneath, and powder underneath foundation, like liquid, just sounds like a mess, but it actually doesn't look, you know, bad at all. It looks fine. You can see on camera my face looks really, really nice. So from there, I'm just going to bronze. I'm not going to cream contour, but I'm just going to bronze up my skin using my Sephora Micro Smooth. I've been getting asked, you know, a lot what bronzer I've been using or what cheek product I've been using, and it's been this one. You can see how luminous and just bronzy that this looks. Even with my skin now that it's tan, this color still works for me, and it's the deepest color. It's the color 60, and I'm applying it with my Morphe E4. I might as well show you guys the other products I'm applying too, so that's what I'm doing. And notice how I didn't set this area at all, and it's still not looking patchy or streaky or anything. But notice that when I apply the bronzer, I tap it into my skin. I never ever rub, because then that's when I start to get, you know, the patches around that area. So I just tap it all into my skin. See, the color is like perfect. All right, you guys, so this is how everything looks once I have finished up the rest of my makeup, and I must say I am pretty surprised. I ended up liking the way that this turned out, because I was looking in the mirror when I was finishing up my makeup and when I was like kind of trying to do my hair, and I was looking up close and my face looks like, you know, I don't even have any type of pores, and that's usually my main issue when it comes to makeup, is just my pores are accentuated a lot of the times. And I just thought that this is going to be like one of those kind of situations where my pores were just going to be out there, or where, you know, I was going to start to cake up around my nose and stuff, and that is most definitely not the case with this little hack. And I also didn't even put any type of setting spray on top, and my skin doesn't look powdery. My skin doesn't look cakey. Of course, you know, my skin can use a little spray or something, but it doesn't look bad at all. Like it really doesn't. Let me get you guys close so you can see. So this is how my skin looks, and this is basically how it looks in person as well, because my camera doesn't have a filter. It doesn't have no type of smoothing or softening effect. A lot of the times people think that I have like a filter or something. I don't even know how to do that, but this is how my skin looks in person with all of the products that I use, you know, with the powder underneath. I really like the results. Like my skin looks matte, but of course because I added highlight, you know, in those certain areas, it looks a little bit glowy in those areas, but the rest of my face looks really nice. Now what I will say is that I probably won't be doing this on like an everyday basis or for like an everyday makeup look, just because it's like an extra step and it does add just a slight bit more coverage because you're adding that second layer of powder. But for special events, for a night out or something like that, I most definitely will be doing this. But who knows, I might not mind taking that extra step depending on how this ends up wearing throughout the day. All my final thoughts will be in the description box. Overall, this hack is a yes for me. I'm looking at myself in the mirror again for the 100th time, and I really am liking the finish of this. So this hack worked out for me. You know, if you have a translucent powder at home, try it out. Especially if you have oily skin, it might really help to give you that really full coverage, flawless kind of look if that's what you're going for. So I hope that this video was helpful. A lot of you guys were requesting this, so give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it and if you found it helpful. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, you can click right here and it'll automatically subscribe you to my channel. And if you are interested in watching my last video, you can click here and it'll take you directly to my last video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video.